What's going on, everybody? K to the 2 here with PPL Division 2 Season 4. This is Week 4. This week we are going up, not against Ryquin. No. I'll explain that in a minute. We are going up against Richie of the Livwurmple FC. Now, the reason that it says Rye there is because Richie had left his DS at his parents' house, so he is fighting off of Rye's DS, and so we have the chance to beat Rye twice in one season. That would be amazing. I believe I would be the first person ever in PPL history to beat Rye twice in a season. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that that is the case. So let's go ahead and hop into what we're bringing. If you guys don't know exactly what I am bringing, it will be in the description below. There will be a link to our team analysis, which goes over in depth each and every one of the mons that I am bringing, why I brought them, what their spreads are, what moves they have, all of that. So if you guys would like to know, make sure to check that out, and I will give you a brief overview. Did I just say overview? That was weird. I will give you a brief overview of what I am bringing. I am bringing a Choice Scarf Victini, the same exact set that I brought last week, except instead of a Choice Band, a Choice Scarf. I am bringing a Life Orb, Hidden Power Poison, Calm Mind Keldeo. I am bringing a physically defensive Serena with Rapid Spin, bringing the Aerodactyl, which is Rocky MZ, more defensive in order to switch into Torrentee and get up my rocks. I'm bringing Calm Mind Blissey. Yep, it is a Calm Mind Blissey that we have. And then we also have a Resto Chesto Recycle Klefki, which I am very happy with being able to come up with that set on my own, because it was like a major moment. I actually got that idea a couple months back when our good friend Mono Tui brought a air balloon recycle Klefki when he could have just had air balloon and magnet rise. It was weird. I don't understand Mono's thinking, but you know what? You do you, baby boo, as they say. Now, he also has a team, and he has Donphan, Registeel, Tapu Bulu, Mismagius, Manaphy, and Torn. So the things he did not bring Goodra, which is amazing because that means he has one less switch into Manaphy. On top of that, Goodra is one of the things that could have been able to take on Calm Mind Blissey. He did not bring Rotom Heat, and he did not bring Togetic. Both of them were weak to rocks, and I could frankly deal with them fairly easily. Rotom could have been a pain in my side if he had the like a Trick Scarf set, because my really only switch into that was Blissey. However, if he wasn't that and he was a more defensive set in order to take on Victini, I would have been able to take that on and actually set up with my Blissey against the Rotom. Same with Togetic. It was just kind of, it's really fucking passive piece of shit is what Togetic is. So, what I'm expecting from his team is he's going to have rocks on either Donphan or Registeel. I can't really quite pinpoint which one will have rocks, so I'm gonna go with the assumption that both of them have rocks until I know otherwise. Tapu Bulu could be scarfed, or it could be a more bulky set in order to take on Keldeo, which is either one could work, but we do have the Hidden Power Poison to capitalize on the more bulky one. If he's scarfed, I have the Serena and the defensive Klefki in order to take it on, so I'll be okay with that. Mismagius, to be honest, I didn't really plan too much for Mismagius. I just knew that everything on my team pretty much beat it, so I wasn't really afraid of it. Next up, we have the Manaphy on his side, which I am heavily expecting to be Tail Glow against my team. He could have Z Rain Dance as well, at which point he would have to have Surf or Scald and Psychic in order to pretty much hit most of my team. It doesn't do anything to Blissey, and of course that's what Calm Mind Blissey will be setting up on. And then lastly, there is a Torn there, which could be pretty annoying, especially to Serena, but as long as I spin every time it comes in. And a potentially get a Toxic on the Torn, then I'll be okay with it. If I get up rocks, it will be even less of a problem as well. And that's another thing that can take on Calm Mind Blissey. So, as you can see, Calm Mind Blissey is looking really like a really nice bring with the team that he brought. The only thing I need to make sure is gone is the Tapu Bulu. Pretty much. So that's going to be it. Let's hop right into the battle. I decided to lead with Victini because I would be able to have a good lead matchup against anything really on his team. If he led with Torn, I did have the free switch into Aerodactyl because I didn't want to risk him being scarfed. So we are going to see what he leads with. And that is going to be the Donphan here. And I just decided to click U-turn, get some early momentum. If he wants to go for rocks, I think he can get a free turn for rocks right here as I switch out, because it's pretty obvious that I'm going to switch out. He could go for rocks. He does decide actually to go for the EQ as I go into Serena, which is completely fine. And I would be 100% okay just clicking Toxic either against this Donphan or whatever wants to come in. Looking at it, Registeel could be a switch-in, of course. If I Toxic, oh well. Pretty much that's how I feel about that. But I can then really 1v1 the Registeel, because there's not really much it can do to a Serena. So, and right here I'm, like I said, going to go for the Toxic as he goes into Torn, and getting off this Toxic is huge. We do land it, which is nice. Getting off that Toxic is huge. It'll help negating the regen that he gets as soon as I get up my Stealth Rocks, which could be a huge pain for him. So, like I said, my Aerodactyl is fairly bulky, and that is going to act as my switch-in to Aerodactyl. And right here, this is where we set up a series of plays that reminded Richie, as he told me after the game, reminded him of Groundhog Day, because it's going to be the same thing over and over. And he's just going to click U-turn on my Serena as I switch into Aerodactyl on the Torn. Every time Torn came in, I went into Aerodactyl. So that's going to be what happens. He goes into Registeel, and like I said, I have the Serena, which doesn't really care about this Registeel. Now he is going to go for the T-Wave, probably expecting me to stay in, or switch into maybe Manaphy or Keldeo in order to get a more offensive switch against the Registeel. So right here, I am going to go for the Trop Kick right away, just to gauge what kind of damage it is on this Registeel, and he's going to go for the Stealth Rocks. So, what ends up happening here is I go for Trop Kick and I see that damage, and it does a little bit over 10%, which means he is not Fizdef. And that is pretty important. It means he will be more easily put in range of V-Create, so if he does end up having the Aqua Berry with counter, I won't lose my Victini straight up to that. I'll make sure that this Registeel is in range first in order to do that, and it'll make it easier to put it into range because it is Spidef rather than Fizdef. So right here, I am going to go for the Rapid Spin as he set up his rocks, and I'm going to Trop Kick as he ends up switching out, goes into Torn, and again, this is where we see the double, not really a double switch out, it's just I go into Aerodactyl, he goes for the U-turn, and gets in with something else. So, as you're going to see, here comes the U-turn as I go into Aerodactyl. And he is going to go into, I believe he went into Donphan this time, which again, Serena can come in against that and not really care. If he goes for EQ, Stone Edge, whatever, I am Fizdef, I can take whatever he wants to go for, force it out with a Trop Kick, and get some attack drops going. And I can also potentially Synthesis up on it. If this also has Stealth Rocks, then I can spin those away as well. It would be weird to have two Rockers on his team, but I've seen it before. Maybe not from him, but I've seen dual Rockers on teams before. So he is going to get off a Stone Edge, and it's going to do pretty much 0 damage, and I'm just going to go right ahead and go for the Trop Kick. That's what it's called. If I had U-turn on this Serena over Toxic, I think that might have been pretty cool. However, I do have the Trop Kick, which means Aerodactyl just comes in on this every time and doesn't really care. I am bulky. Even if he had some sort of special attack that hit it neutrally, like Energy Ball, Grass Knot, something like that, I could roost up. Well, maybe not on frickin' Grass Knot, of course, but I'd be able to kill it with Z Stone Edge, or even just Stone Edge at this point. So he's going to go for U-turn again, as I bring in the Aerodactyl again, and this time he is going to change it up. He gets a little bit impatient and goes into his Mismagius. Now right here I am at a range of health that I am going to be able to live whatever Scarf hit he wanted to go for. So I felt like my Z move was going to be the correct play. My Z move knocks out this Mismagius 100% of the time. If I outsped it, it would have just killed the Mismagius. If he outsped me, he wasn't killing me, and I was going to kill him with the Z move. So either way, Mismagius will go down at the end of the turn, and Aerodactyl is alive. However, he's Focus Sash, which is actually very nice for me. As you're going to see, Shadow Ball right here is going to do pretty much nothing. So he's going to go for that. And on this following turn, I'm just going to use this as an opportunity to roost up, as he is going to go for the D-Bond, maybe expecting me to go for the roost so I can't kill him next turn. So it works out for him, because now I can't kill him, but it also works out for me because this gives me an opportunity to get up my Stealth Rocks, which is very nice, because otherwise I would have just killed the Mismagius for fear of him potentially getting like a crit with Thunderbolt or a Spadef Drop with Shadow Ball, something like that. So I am going to be able to get up my rocks, and he burns us here, which is completely fine, and I'm going to knock out this Mismagius on the following turn with a move that never misses, which is Aerial Ace. So having that in tandem with Stone Edge is very nice, especially against a Sash Mismagius, in which case I don't have to risk going for Stone Edge against. So rocks are up, he's going to bring in Manaphy, and as you saw earlier, Blissey is a switch into this Manaphy, and because I am Calm Mind, I can take it on 100% of the time. So in comes my Blissey, and he's going to switch straight out and go into Registeel, potentially expecting Klefki, or not quite sure what he wanted to send out there, or what he was expecting me to send out, but I do go straight into Blissey, and I'm going to get off this Heal Bell, which probably made him think, oh shit, I just wasted so much time, I wasted my Mismagius to get the burn, and then it's no longer burned, and fuck, it's probably what's going through his head. So we get the Heal Bell off, which is completely fine, and right here, because I know that Serena can take on Registeel, I'm just going to go hard into Serena, and it's going to work out here, because as you see, he's going to go for the Iron Head, which does no damage. And I'm just going to go for the Trop Kick, knowing that eventually I will wear down this Registeel to the point where it dies to a V-Crate, even if it's Aqua Berry. And if he's switching out, then I'm lowering something's attack. So he's going to go into Cataclysm, which is his Tapu Bulu. And as you're going to see, after the Trop Kick, I'm going to see what item he is, and if he is not banded, I can live after this Trop Kick, a Mega Horn, which is very nice. I can just go for either Synthesis or another Trop Kick. If I go for another Trop Kick, I can then go for Synthesis again, and if he doesn't even have Mega Horn, then Serena beats this Tapu Bulu. But you're going to see there, I took Rocky Helmet damage, which is very nice for me, meaning that he is a more defensive spread. And he goes for Brick Break here, possibly expecting the Blissey to come in. Or maybe it was just his hardest hitting attack to hit Serena, and it's going to be doing pitiful damage to me. As he is now at -2 attack, Serena is going to be able to 1v1 this Bulu pretty much. because if he has Leech Seed, he can't Leech Seed a Grass type. Horn Leech is not going to be doing a whole lot to Serena, especially at -2 attack. And I can just Synthesis up here, and he is going to switch out. So all he really managed to do was reveal his item that he had on his Bulu and weaken himself. And that's what ends up happening there. In comes the Torn against Serena, and I am going to go hard into Aerodactyl once again. So he could go for U-turn, which would be completely fine. And I believe that is exactly what he goes for once again. So every time so far that I have brought in Aerodactyl, he's just gone for U-turn. But he's gone into something that Aerodactyl can't really do anything against, in which case I go out into Serena, which deals with whatever he decides to send in. So right here, he's going to go into the Registeel, and this time, expecting an Iron Head to come my way, I'm just going to go hard into Keldeo. And that is exactly what happens. As you're going to see, he does go for the Iron Head, and it does no damage, because Registeel is not really an attacking type of Pokemon, and that's a resisted hit. So in is the Keldeo, and that is a Registeel, and this is an easy Secret Sword. So he has no switch into this. Torn kind of is, and it'll force me out, which is fine, but I'll get off a ton of damage. A ton of damage against the Torn. So we are going to go for the Secret Sword, and as you're going to see, it doesn't do a whole lot of damage. But I kill with HP Poison 100% of the time against this Tapu Bulu. Also, side note, the grassy terrain is really nice when I have Life Orb, because really, at the end of each turn, I'm only taking 4% damage rather than 10%. So I'm going to go for the Hidden Power Poison, and that is going to pick off the Tapu Bulu, and now he has no switch into Keldeo. No safe switch into Keldeo, that is. So every time I bring in Keldeo from now on, I pretty much pick up a kill. And he's going to go into his Tornadus here. Now, I expected 100%. I expected him to either U-turn again or go for a flying move, because Keldeo is such a threat, and if he can get rid of Keldeo, then he'll be getting rid of one of the biggest things that can take on his team. So I'm going to send in Aerodactyl, and he actually reveals the Dark Pulse here. And it does just over 50 damage, so just over 25%. And there is a chance here that I can live another Dark Pulse. However, he turns out to be Scarfed. I went for Roost on that turn in order to scout if A, he is Scarfed, or B, just to get healthy if he is not Scarfed. So he's taking 2 turns of poison damage and Stealth Rocks at this point. And because I know that he's Scarfed, locked into Dark Pulse, I'm just going to sit in here with Keldeo, click the Secret Sword, because he has no switch into it. If he left in his Torn, he's not doing anything to me. I easily 2-KO that. So Secret Sword comes out, and that brings Manaphy into the red. And from here, 100% of the time I kill with Scald. Even against a max HP Manaphy, Scald does a min of 20%, which he is in the red, so he is below 20%. So Manaphy is going to switch out, and it's going to go into Torn. Torn, after that little bit of extra poison damage that he took by staying in against the Aerodactyl, and the extra Stealth Rock damage, is going to go down. Min roll on that Scald is 70%, and as you can see, after Stealth Rocks is 25%, and that little bit of Sliver, which I'm assuming is about 5%, 5 to 10%, it was not at a range of health that it could live another Scald. So right here, Keldeo is going to go for Secret Sword, potentially can't pick up this kill against Registeel. It doesn't. That's fine, because he can't really do anything to me. What's he going to do? He's going to go for the T-Wave. So he lands it, and we are still going to be faster than this Registeel. Gen 7 means it's only half speed rather than quarter speed, which is amazing. So we are going to be able to still outspeed this Registeel as I go for the Scald. And I will outspeed the Donphan as well. And if he goes into Donphan, he's going to have to hope that I get paralyzed. If he goes into Manaphy, I'm expecting Psychic 100% to come out, because Psychic was the coverage move that he really needed against my team in order to break through it with Tail Glow. So that's why I go into Victini against a Manaphy. And that's why it works out here, because he does go for Psychic. I'm just going to click U-turn here because A, it gets a kill on this Manaphy and I can go hard into Keldeo in order to take out Donphan, or he's going hard into Donphan, letting his Manaphy die to rocks, and I can get right back in with Keldeo and kill it with Scald. Kill this Donphan with Scald. So that's going to be what happens. I'm going to go for the U-turn. Guarantee that this thing's sturdy is broken. Get in with Keldeo. Click Scald. If I get parried, I could potentially lose Keldeo here, but because he switched out Manaphy, he can't really win this game. Because he switched out the Manaphy, he will not be able to switch into rocks again. And we do land the Scald. Completely good, because Manaphy comes back in, dies, and we win the game 5-0. So after losing our first 2 weeks, we are now on a 2-game win streak, which is exactly what we should be doing. So that's how this game ends. That's week 4 of the PPL. We're sitting here 2-2, now at +1. If we win next week we go up against Potato Jim. We beat him in the Battle Union this past season. If we win against him, it'll be the first time that I have a positive record in D2 since week 3 of last season. And that's not a place that I'm used to being in. So I'm coming into this next week really motivated, really excited, in order to get back to a winning record, above 500 record. I am hoping that's the way it turns out, but of course I gotta put in the work, gotta battle Jim, who can beat anyone at any time, and it's going to be difficult. So make sure to look out for that. But if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like down below, and I will see you guys next time.